Good afternoon and welcome to Rundlii Gaming again. So we're going to be doing another video. This will be called 7 Grand Steps, as you can see at the top. This is kind of more like I almost want to say like a strategy game, storytelling strategy game. Might be close to the genre. So we're going to kind of walk you through a little bit of the game itself. This is actually just a demo. I haven't really decided as to whether or not I want to get the game. And even with the demo, I haven't actually completed that yet. So I played through twice already just to see how the game goes. And we're going to go ahead and start up on our new game. We'll call this Rundlii. Alright, so we're going to overwrite that. Now, it's definitely an interesting sort of design for a game. First, we're going to have to kind of get an idea as to what we want to do with our lives of our characters. So either we can do a legend of climbing in society to live high upon the wheel, a legend of discovery to ride upon the wheel, so it's probably something more sciencey-ish. This is probably more well-known among the people, and heroic legend to challenge the wheel. This is to go a little bit above what you normally try to do in order to be considered a legend. So we'll go for the harder one, and we're gonna try to get 80 points. And basically, what 80 points is on this wheel you'll see these things here. Right now you see like a green one and a white one. So the green one is worth 3, well actually 6, and then a half one is worth 3, whereas the white is worth 4, then 2. So pretty much as you progress around this wheel, you're going to get different points like that. Now the square one that I just used, basically what that'll do is make you fall back to the furthest back person there is on here, and that would allow you to make some of these tokens. These tokens are what you use in order to move. So let's say if I were to use this masonry one, I'm going to go up to the next square here, basically to the next masonry. If I use that next, what is that called again? Irrigation, then I'll move up to this one. If I use the first vase, I'll move up to that first vase here. So we're probably just going to go and use the vase, just to kind of get them moving a little bit. And they can also take a lot of the these tokens and stuff as well. So that's something that I have to always consider whenever I'm moving as well. So for now, we're going to use the guy to go up to the irrigation. So he'll take that one. And she's just going to move up a little bit further. However, this turn I'm going to need to get a few tokens here. So I may use her to fall back. It's not what I quite hoped for. And I'll push him a little bit further up. Alright, good. So basically they fell back in order to give me a few tokens there as well. So I'm going to use him to get the vase. This will allow me to get the white token there. And her, I'm going to move up to the next one of those. Alright, so for him, I'm going to have him fall back, which he'll fall back to the stranger here. And then she is going to probably do the vase, which will get her moving a little bit further up. So I'm going to have to use him, because otherwise she would fall back to the crocodiles. And then she can either move to the masonry, which is probably where I'll send her, or the irrigation, which is the next square, but she'll be blocked out since there's already 3 there. Alright, so she needs to do... Alright, yeah, so the jar is right there, so what I'll probably actually do... Okay, yeah, there's another thing too, is if I move into someone else, let's say if I move into her, so I'll use this, they'll actually trigger that, which gives us extra bonuses, and then he ended up going to the next jar anyway. For this, I'm going to probably have to do masonry. And let's see if we can have a child at this point. Alright, and so we'll probably go ahead and... because pretty much what we're going to do is actually give him tokens in order to improve his skills. Because once these two die, which does happen at some point, we're going to want to make sure that he's going to continue to prosper pretty well. Neither of these stand out as something I really need, so I'll just give him that for now. Alright, so I do need tokens, so I'm going to use him to fall back. They had another child, so for this I'm going to push her up to that, and then I'm going to feed both of them a brewery. Alright, and we're going to push her back. So get us a few more tokens here. Quit having children, you two. And then we're going to move him up. Now the thing is, the more children that I have on here, the more I'm going to have to keep using resources in order to keep them better at things. That's the disadvantage of having a lot of them, because I have to keep burning a lot of these tokens here to do so. Alright, so I'll move her up to the irrigation. I'm going to move him up to the vase. Alright, so we did get a few more tokens out of this. However, she can't move right now, so that is kind of an issue. So if I move to the jar, that will trigger an issue there. In fact, I may try to do that. No, it'll probably be blocked out. So I'm going to move him to the jar, her to the jar, like, see, they're starting to dislike some of each other. For example, Osorkon dislikes Ramla. It doesn't actually show the rest of them. Okay, Tefanet dislikes Osorkon, and also dislikes Osorkon. So sometimes they will cause problems with each other as well, which is something you may see very soon as well. So what I'll probably do is move him back so that way we can get a few more tokens. And I guess I'll have to move her up. Yeah, so the child, Ramla, yelled at Tefener. Later, she broke one of Tefener's toys. So as you can see, they're starting to get a little hostile towards each other. But they are starting to like each other a little bit. Except for Ramla dislikes Tefener. Alright, so I'm gonna move him back just to make some tokens out of it. Stop having kids! Because another thing is, I'm not making quite 4 tokens around, so some of these are gonna start to do kind of poorly. So I may have to actually just start putting my resources in those 2 and hope for the best, really. And let's go ahead and increase their abilities a little bit further. Well, dang. So I may move her up just to get that. I do run into the problem though that I'm probably going to, because he can't move this round. Alright, so I'm going to have her get some tokens, otherwise he's going to run into problems really soon. So Vase is actually my best move right now. So the children silenced their hunger, but lean years drew their cheeks in. The soil was turning salty, and wheat stalks were thin. Cat begged the priest for supplemental food. The priests opened their granaries to display the bounty of the river god. They rationed just enough to keep folk alive, etc., etc. So, alright, so I did get a few more tokens out of that. So, I'm going to have to move him up to the vase. Pretty much the same thing I just did. So basically we didn't have enough food, so one of the children died. And let's get some more tokens out of this. Alright, so I'll move one up to there, one up to there. Got a token. Failed to make a token. Failed to make a token. They chopped the earth with stone hoes. Margaret told Ket, priests say the dead become shadows. Darting eyes revealed her fear. In bright sunlight, workers cast sharp shadows, undulating cross furrows. Ket replied, my grandmother said, beetles tell more truth about the future than priests. That must have been back when she had to eat beetles. Okay. sure. So we'll move her back. And move him up. Because we're pretty much hoping that we get a few more resources out of this deal. So that way it won't be a total loss, so... ABC, ABC, DAC. Let's see. So irrigation, we can probably increase hers up. One of them up. Move him back. Stop having so many children. So we can blow a little bit of his inheritance just to make sure that he has a better chance. They're actually all pretty good at brewing, except for that one. So we're going to go ahead and start up our new life with that one. So we're going to give this one Brave. Alright, so at this point what we're aiming to do is start up our new life with the new character. So it's going to be a very similar playstyle as the previous one, where basically they're aiming just to I may run up just to take that gold one. Pretty much have to fall back, which actually killed him. I didn't plan for that. So hopefully, if we want to do well here, we're going to have to try to get her as a wife. So let's move up to the nearest spot where someone else is at, and hope she'll move up to me. Yeah, so he's... So basically you can choose why, why he would remain unmarried. So, yeah, we could probably just do the answer wasn't immediately clear. No. That basically means he's gay, but he resigned himself to bachelorhood. The family line was to be born by another. Perhaps he already did not concern himself with women who claimed it. He was in a hurry to get married. he questioned his destiny no further. A friend reminded him of the unpredictable but natural supply of widows. Oh, so it actually allows me to play a little bit further with it, I guess. Heat from the high sun forced a break. He wiped his face. He found shade next to Hui, who was eating a handful of pistachios. And he asked to taste one. Sure, she shared one. Okay. Alright, let's move up further again. So we'll fall back to make a few tokens here, which didn't really help us all that much. So let's go ahead and move up to where she's at. Though sadly I have no tokens. If I use this, I'm just going to fall back to the sharks. I'm pretty much stuck here. Okay, good. Let's move up. And hopefully we're going to get a token out of this somewhere. Nope. So we're stuck again. And looks like he's gonna die on this. Alright, so that means Tefenet will be our next person that we're going to play out. So we'll make the family turn their backs when the acolyte led Tefenet away. She bowed her head and stepped solemnly through the city. They walked many streets before arriving at the temple. Tefenet turned to see if anyone had joined behind her to contribute. Family members greeted her warmly and offered what they could to the river god. Tefenet begged the priest to let her join temple life. They cast her out. So we will do the cold. Alright, so we're going to have to end that because we have no inheritance with this one yet. Yeah, so let's go ahead and try to court that one. In the ring, Tefenet left shaking her head. Wei presented the raft to Tefenet, but the gift was met with exasperation. Tefenet left shaking her head. When the rains came and the river grew, he found Tefenet desperately waiting to higher ground and offered a lift. Tefenet took his charity and continued to during their long cruise together. Alright, so that begins the new family here. So we're going to move him up. So for her, I'm going to move her up to where he's at. Oh wait, I guess I would have carted it out. And then for him, I'm also going to move it to the brewing. Because hopefully what I can do is do 2 of the masonry. And that way they can trigger each other and make them move. So I'm going to move him up. Then I'm going to move her into him. And let's end the turn. So I want to get the vase with her. And then he is going to grab the irrigation. He's going to move up to grab the blue one. And then I'm going to have her fall back into where he's at. Alright, and their first child. So, next turn I can have one of them move up to take that. So I need to keep 1 vase and 1 masonry. So I'll give this one irrigation. So I'll have her move to there. He will move to there. Then I'll give masonry again. So I'm going to move him into her, which will create a bunch of tokens. And move her back, which will make more tokens. And then let's go ahead and increase brewing. So for him, I probably want to move him by brewing, because that'll give me a few points there. For her, irrigation will move me all the way up to the other one. We visited Tefenet in an evening swelter. She brought her children and offered a string of dried fish to care for them until dawn. Tefenet and her husband watched the children while she took a long bath and slept by the river. Tefenet was injured by crocodiles. Well, that's never a very good place to start. Alright, so I want to move so I'm going to move him into this, which will give me the green one. And then her, she's going to try to make a few tokens by falling back to that stranger there. And then from there, I can give that one irrigation. So her, I'm going to move all the way to the front. Him, I'm going to move up 1. And I'll feed that one 1. So for her, she's going to try to get some more tokens. And then I'm going to move him back up to there. Then he probably really needs to get either masonry or brewing. I'll give him masonry for now. Alright, so I'll move him up to irrigation. I'll move him also to irrigation. And then I'm going to feed... Let's see, I think brewing was his bad one right now. Yep. So I move him up. And then I'll fall her back. In hopes of getting another masonry, which I did not. I am still 16 points away though. Oh yeah, I just want to feed him something, so let's give him that. So we're gonna fall him back, which will give us a token. Then I'll move her up to the same place he's at. Alright, so Priest of the River Goddess announced a flood star has risen to the sky. Tephanet and her husband looked for extra work preparing for the festival. They made honeyed barley cakes and other traditional treats and offerings to sell to neighbors. They were favored as sacrifices. Smoke from the altar rose straight to the gods, a good sign. So at this point they've both got something, and I need to bring up his brewing and masonry still, so get another brewing. Alright, so I can have her fall back. Well, then again, I could actually have both of them fall back. I'll have him fall back first. Have her fall back into the other two. Oh, they start breeding again. Alright, so we're going to need to try to jump back up. No, stop having children. Alright, so brewing. Let's get brewing. And another brewing. We'll use a jar for this one. And let's get masonry to bowls. So that one's pretty well set. That one could use some improvement. But we'll probably go ahead and fall back with him. And then fall back with her. And for this, I'm going to do masonry with both. So at this point I'm going to use him to fall back to her. That'll make us a few more tokens here. Then I'm going to move her up to this one. In the early morning, Tefanet and Titi were fishing to pass the time between bites. They argued about their betters. Tefanet complained, city folk boast their superiority, but they are morally corrupt. Their children will destroy all that is civil. Titi chuckled, and our children will pick up the pieces and start again. Alright, so brewing and irrigation, and pretty much everything. So we'll give irrigation to both. So he's going to move all the way up to the front. And I'll try to get her to get a few more tokens here. And we'll give brewing to both. Alright, so we'll kick it forward one more round. So at this point, we'll probably just... I think I can survive one more round, so I will probably bring him back. I'll bring her back. But that at least increases the inheritance a bit right there. Alright, so family turned their backs when the acolyte led Nima away. She bowed her head and stepped solemnly through the city. They walked many streets, etc. So it's basically the same story as before. Nima returned home and packed her new belongings. The space was made especially for her until she could start her new life. So we're going to make her the brave. Because basically she's starting this new world all by herself pretty much. And as such, we'll ignore for now. Alright, so let's move her a little bit up. He's still not worth very many tokens. Well, they're actually... okay, so I'm going to have her fall back, hopefully into this one. This might be the best candidate for her. Yeah, 6 tokens. Spent months after work in the field, binding reeds together. She presented the raft, etc. So basically the same story as before. Oh. So I guess I turned an enemy since I rejected him multiple times. So let's go ahead and move him up. Alright, so I actually turned these ones into allies, and then... Alright, so for him, I'm going to move him up so he can take that. And we need 10 more points. Let's see if... Okay, yeah. I guess that doesn't actually help. So I'm going to use her to go to the ally. And then I'm going to use him to take that other green. So he's going to move up to take another white. She's going to move up, which will hopefully trigger an ally here and into that one. Alright, so we actually completed our goal. Screaming from the riverbank raked Nima's ears. She darted expertly across treacherous furrows to the water's edge. A man had been grabbed by a crocodile. He wore a simple shift seen in the temple district. The beast was dragging him to the water. Nima appealed to the crocodile spirit. Nima prayed to the river gods, a man-like figure with the head of a heron. Nima spied an elder following a seed plow. She ran to her. Nima grabbed a thick length of wood. So we'll just pray to the crocodile spirit. Looking upstream, Nima did not have to see the man's last bubbles break the river surface. 3 of the priest's brethren arrived too late. They beat Nima for her superstitious ignorance. Well. She's the next legend your family will pursue. Climb the wheel to gain new skills and access more beads of higher quality. Higher tracks usually give more time. High risk for a variety of gains. Winning a heroic challenge provides advantages against all challenges of the age. Win tokens of skill. Alright. Yeah, we'll do heroic deeds. And then I'll move him up. And for this one, I'm going to move him back. And I'll move her back as well. Alright, so I'm going to shift him back. That way they can make tokens. And then I can move her up to masonry, which will give me the other green here. And I'll probably use her to fall back and get some more tokens. Then I'll just move him up to... I can't move there, can't move there. Yeah, I'll just do there. so I'm gonna probably go ahead and move them both up with brewing, which will trigger the ally boost. It's the crocodile thing again, so don't do spirit apparently. Pray to the river god, a man-like figure with the head of a heron. I will try that again. Alright, so the must survive historic circumstance at end of the age. Usually when all the track's discoveries have been made, one age ends, another begins, a discovery. Okay. Alright, so I still have her, so she can move into irrigation, which will trigger the ally, and she'll move to the end. Flood Festival set the farm, community dancing and laughing, etc. Nima wandered deserted work districts of the city. It's not entirely deserted. Those too old or too feeble listened to the distant rivalry. Nima spoke with a few of them about their lives. The city was, damn. So I'm gonna have to move him up. And I'll probably move her back. Because if I would have moved him back, he ran into that and then went off the board, so... Alright, so I'm going to use her to trigger the ally. And then him, he's going to meet up with her. Alright, let's see what this story is. Nima walked away from the farm, chasing a stray, thought she found a small pond. Smooth red clay lined the banks. The unblemished bed was gold for a potter. Nima knelt and asked any water spirit present for a sample. She took one and left. He attempted to sell the clay, but a canny potter asked for more. When Nima fetched it, the potter secretly followed and took clay for himself. And let's see if they have another child. Apparently they botched that one as well. See, they have a child again. I don't think they're gonna have a child. Move that one up. That one up. Still no child. Move up. Move up. I guess they're probably getting to the age to where they probably can't have children anymore, so... so we weren't able to succeed with that, so we're going to have to succeed with this one. So let's go and attempt the passage. And we'll make this one the brute. Now she may be a little bit more difficult to actually get people, because her stats aren't quite as good as the previous one. Alright, so I'm going to move her through him. Oh, I guess that didn't work. Alright, so let's begin. Alright, boost 1. Boost up. And then so brewing. Yeah, I'll give him that. And we'll give masonry to that one. So brewing to her, so she'll grab that one. And then there. So hopefully this one doesn't take that, which it didn't, so. Let's go ahead and grab that, and we'll pull back with that one. Alright, so for this one, we're going to try to jump up a little bit further. Heat from the high sun forced a break. Lotus wiped her face. She found shade next to that guy, who was eating a handful of pistachios. Lotus reported him for theft. The master farmer's wife rewarded Lotus for catching a thief from the main house. And we'll go ahead and feed that. Alright, so for her, I need masonry, which will trigger that. Lotus rush home. Husband stir quickly from the rest. There is talk from the city to abolish the assembly. Between her mat and thin furs curled away from her, he rumbled, "Senseless woman, free men have assembled to petition priest and officials since before there was a city." Lotus pushed him with a foot. Now rich men by the voice of poor men who bother to show up. Lotus warned, "It may be rumor, but you will lie there and let others discover it's true." Lotus howled at the insult and cracked a handy pot over his skull. Lotus cried, "What are you, a slumberer of a free man?" Let's try that one. 9. Push the foot back, only the poor rally from humor. The rich sleep content. Today I am rich. He curled up and closed his eyes. Lotus fumed. She left to do what she could. While men from the outlying farms descended on the city, Lotus followed an older rumor to a small shack away from her farm. The magic woman would then shoot Lotus before she could enter. "Begone, I have no power over the priest." Lotus waited until the sun peaked in the sky. Lotus observed icy wood chips outside your door to announce people. The woman laughed. "Go to the temple's back gate, and if your eyes and mind are sharp enough, you'll find an opportunity to serve your purpose." 2 or 3 small riots had broken out in the city. Unfamiliar with its avenues, Lotus navigated by her ears, avoiding shouts, screams, and cackling fires. Eventually, she reached the far gate of the Sky God's temple. A pair of sanctified sentries regarded her with suspicion. Lotus decided that one of them was a woman. Lotus decided that both were women. Lotus threatened angry men, "March this way. Call others to flee your post." Sentries retreated behind the gate. Leaving Lotus outside, she fled home safely. Let's try that. Alright, so back to where we were. The only place I can go is irrigation, so he'll actually go all the way to the end where she's at. Alright. Oh, that's kind of neat. Alright, so I do need tokens, so I'll just roll that with one of them. She will not gain anything out of that, so I'm going to have her fall back as well. Alright, another story. Lotus walked away from the farm, chasing a stray thought. The thoughts, okay. It's based on the same story as before, so it seems like there's a lot of repeat stories as well. And all of his skills are terrible. Alright, so I can move her up, fall him back. Stop having heads. I can't afford the first one, hardly. So let's give him irrigation. And then the next best one will be masonry, so let's give him brewing. So I'm going to fall back and get more coins, hopefully. And fall back again. Alright, so not a lot of good options here. Masonry is good, so we're going to give him brewing. Alright, so for now what I'll probably do is end this particular video. I will continue with the next video. but this one's already pretty much an hour long. So we'll go ahead and end this one for now, and I guess just watch for the next one, which should be out very soon. Thank you for watching Rundlii Gaming, and you have a good day.